This video contains spoilers for Poppy Playtime Chapter 5 Broken Things. Well, emotions are running high in the Poppy Playtime community right now. We actually got a full, real prototype design reveal. It took 4.5 chapters and I am in disbelief that we've come this far, but I am so happy that we have. In the run-up to the release of this chapter, I looked through, counting designs that were too similar to each other to really include in videos, 100 fan-made prototype designs across 3 separate videos. Now we know how the prototype actually looks, how close did people get? I'm going to take a look at some fan designs that have emerged over the years and see who prophesized how they'd actually look. Before we get into the designs though, firstly subscribe, I'd love it, I'm Kirby's2Plays, how are you doing? But also, I'd like to pass my judgment on the official prototype design. I like it. I wouldn't have gone down this exact route, but I am satisfied. I think it's a very unique, grotesquely horrifying experiment gone wrong. It's imposing, it's all there. The Jester aesthetic was right, that was something which I wasn't too sure about. There weren't any human and or human remains elements on it at all, which is a little surprising. Obviously I haven't had a chance to have a close-up look yet, I might be wrong about that. What I would say though is, I think the sharp evil teeth are a bit on the nose and generic, and also I thought that the elements of previous characters like Huggy and Mummy Longlegs, I thought they would blend in a little more, like when he came in, the legs and arms were just flailing around and it was a bit distracting. I did like, however, how the prototype could use like Mummy Longlegs' arm to like pull you closer. I thought that was really cool. I think the twisted smile in general was very good, and I think there was a very strong concept behind this. I think the face was very good, the one eye was very good, so, you know, they did quite a good job. One thing that we need to consider is that we now know that the official design for the prototype leaked 2 days ago. I'd like to make it perfectly clear, all of the designs in this video, and in fact every design that I've looked through on this channel, were drawn way in advance of that happening, and in some cases they were drawn years in advance. So who got closest? Well, let's start with this design. It is my favourite out of all of the designs that I've looked at, and I think this actually got the closest to how the prototype actually ended up looking. It nailed the Jester aesthetic, and I believe this was drawn about 2 weeks ago. I'm in awe of the art style, and I'm going to start talking about the art style when we really should be focusing on the physical design right here, but I'm obsessed with the art style. I think when it comes to the face, if we zoom in on the head, this pretty much nailed it. Got the Jester hat, and when you have a Jester aesthetic down, a Jester hat is hard to get wrong. But it had kind of like the mask, you know, the cheeks weren't there. But in terms of the eye, like there's even only one eye illuminated on this drawing, and it's the correct eye that the prototype actually has illuminated in the game. So they got the one eye correct, they got the teeth correct, they got the white mask correct, Jester hat correct, the colours down the sleeves, they also got those correct. It was red, blue, yellow. So the Poppy Playtime colours were included in the prototype design. The hands. Now, something that I'm not sure if I had my perspective of the prototype's hands ruined because the sizes were so inconsistent in all of the fan-made designs that I looked at, but after looking at Chapter 5, the hands are absolutely massive. Like, the prototype has really big hands. I think when you put things into perspective, the way the hands look in this design also look very close to the prototype's hand sizes in the game as well. Now I know that this design in particular doesn't have legs, because the artist thought that the legs were too difficult to draw, and I totally understand that. That is the most difficult thing to get right in any prototype design. But I feel like if there were legs included in this design, it would be like 9 out of 10. Like, this is incredibly close. I think the only thing that really differentiates it is the main body. I think, although like there are poppies on it, which is very cool, and there's kind of like this shirt thing going on, like this outfit, like it is a Jester toy. That's the only real main difference I can see. There was quite a hunched back in the final design, and there was quite a defined neck as well, so that's another plus for this design. This one as well, almost right, but I would like to point out that so many fan designs that I've seen had a skull head, and they took that literally from Catnap's shrine, and that didn't end up being right. He ended up having a mask. So any design with a skull head, that's a few points taken off it. Obviously I'm not going to look through all 100 in this video, just the ones that got closest, because other than that and the defined bone ribcage in this design, this is also really close. Like the sleeves, it got the colours in there, it got the hands and the hand sizes, which are 2 different points. They got both of those correct. This one does have legs, and the legs are very close, the legs are very similar to the game. So yeah, and also the size. I think in general the size is something that you have to consider. Now there's nothing to compare this design to because it's drawn on its own, but it looks big and I can imagine it being big, and that's good enough for me. So this is another really close one. If the design that we just saw was number 1, this is number 2. Another really strong one, I say this is third place. I didn't mean to go through them in order of how close they actually ended up being, but this is also really good. They got the cracked mask correct. And it was around the mouth. Obviously, like, the mask is far more cracked in this design, but they got that correct. Jester hat correct. Prototype hands correct. The legs are correct. I love the way the legs are drawn in this one. I think I said that when I looked at this before, but I love how the legs are drawn in this one. The arms were correct. Even the chest piece. I think the body and the chest in this design, in this drawing, are actually very, very similar to how they looked in the final game. It's just that there were a few things, like firstly, in the final design they had obviously the mummy long legs and huggy arms, they had the rounded mask in it as well. I'm still kind of collecting my thoughts thinking of the prototype because I only just beat chapter 5 myself. So yeah, the design is very close, obviously like the spine and things like that kind of set it apart, but very impressive considering we had nothing to go off before today other than legs and hand, as well as whatever people could extract from Catnap Shrine. I could never really get anything from that. I had so much confidence in this design. I thought we had it. I thought this nailed it. And in the end, well, the things that this design gets right are the ones that other fan-made designs didn't. This one has Mummy Longlegs' arm in it. It has Huggy's arm in it. You know, it has like the size down. No saw, no drill. And I know some people are going to be quite disappointed about that. The legs are much more spindly and inconsistent on this one. Also, he's holding a Huggy. I didn't even see that. Skull head, and I think they're like actual innards for some reason. So yeah, quite a bit setting this design apart, but not bad at all. This design, I thought, showed promise. And this was the first fan design I ever saw that included poppy gas. And I think because that was such an integral, important part in the Poppy Playtime lore, I thought that was a given. I thought that the prototype would have some way of expelling the hallucinogenic poppy gas out of it or store it somehow. Now, I didn't expect it to be as literal as literally having Catnap's head right there, but I did kind of think, you know, maybe something like that is something they'd consider. They got very, very spider-like with this fan-made design, so the head is completely wrong, the body is wrong, and the legs are wrong. But I think that some of this is an artistic take. So, like, obviously, I'm not knocking any of these designs. I have to make it clear that before today, before the release of Chapter 5, we didn't know anything about at least 2/3 of the prototype's design. It's a miracle that so many people got as close as they did. Some people are very, very smart. Damn, afraid this design didn't cut it. That's such a shame. This design was quite close, you know, considering pretty much everything. You know, got the hulking size down, it got the hand down, the legs and everything. You see what I mean when I say the legs are hard to draw? Like, this is an admirable effort. I couldn't do this. And like, you know, again, you know, the skull head. So many fan-made designs had skull head. It was like, that was the one thing people were sure of, and it was wrong. So, you know, there were a few surprises today, but the beats, the well-known repeated beats in these fan-made designs, they are there, you know. This is another quite cool one. Again, it just needed a bit of work and it would almost be there. The head was a bit too small, but it had the jester hat, it had the jester aesthetic down. The sleeves were correct, hands were correct, arms were correct. It's just the whole body thing in the middle is just a little different. Even like if this was coloured a little differently and there was a more defined heart, it would be 10 times closer to the final design we ended up getting. Oh, the lemon design. Ah, this is the one design I was sure of. I put all of my money on this design being real. Well, maybe in Chapter 6 there'll be like a Lemon 2.0 and the prototype made Prototype 2 and it looks exactly like this. I don't know. I mean, all I can say for sure is, if this design does become canon in any future installment, there will be more boxy representation than there has been in the last 3 chapters, and that's something, so you know. Aha! So this design was wrong. I told you it would be, and about 99% of other people knew it would be, and I can say that about the other design as well, you know. people were so quick to jump on the prototype as a prototype Huggy. And again, I have a soft spot for designs like this, because part of me wishes it was, because it harks back to what makes the series so iconic. Obviously, having the prototype as their completely separate own character, that's the reasonable, realistic way to go. But things like this, you know, there is something to like about it, and having our own withered Huggy, and like having Huggy return in general is a dream come true. For me, I love the Huggy character. So you know, things like this, there isn't any merit to them. I just love it. Those are all of the designs that I can think of which come super close to the design. A lot of them were very far off, and a lot of them are very different and distinctive in their own way. You know, I wonder now how the masses of artists in this Poppy Playtime community are going to look back on their fan art and think, oh, maybe I'll start an alternative universe, maybe I'll make a fan comic, you know? And the one thing I'm really excited for, and I'm going to use this as an example, I am so excited to see if the people that drew designs like this, that were quite close but just off by a few things, I'd be so excited to see if they go back to the design and draw the prototype as they actually appear. Like, I have already seen fan art of the official prototype design. You know, the drive is there. So yeah, the award goes to this design for getting the closest to the prototype, but 2 and 3 are also incredibly strong designs. If you just took these 3 designs and you mix them together, you get the prototype. You know, it's just fun to think about.